Hey, welcome back to another video. I'm Tiffany if you're new here, and this is actually my second channel. It's dedicated to fitness, lifestyle, and a little bit of like paranormal here and there too. So, and back with me, I have Boris because he hasn't been in a video in a long while. So, all right, and I am coming to you. This is actually going to be kind of like a story time where I talk about the time where I could almost swear I encountered a time traveler or experienced some sort of glitch in the matrix, if you will. And it took place in a coffee shop. So I'm not drinking coffee. I'm actually drinking herbal tea. I'm drinking it's like this bourbon chestnut herbal tea that my uncle got for me. I tried it before. It's pretty good, and I'm drinking it because I figured since we're doing kind of like a weird little spooky, kind of not really spooky, but like just kind of like just something that made you, I don't know, just made me just kind of like pause for a moment and be like, was that real? Like what was that? I'm doing my it chapter 1 Pennywise mug. So yeah, but this stuff's pretty good. So, and I also, just kind of as a little snack, I have this this keto bar. It's not bad. It's by Genius Gourmet, and it's the birthday cake flavor. Because sometimes for me, it's like, this is really, really good. Because sometimes, like, a birthday cake flavored, like, keto bar or protein bar can be really, really hit or miss for me. So it's good to find one that actually tastes good. But if you're looking for a good kind of like keto bar and you want a birthday cake flavor that actually tastes good and not like cardboard, this is really good. Genius Gourmet, so that's the brand. And I have my my white and black cat blanket too, because getting kind of comfortable with this one. But actually today I had a gig with one of my music acts. It's called Celtic Spirit, and we played at the Spring Tea, which took place at the Depreciation Lands Museum in Allison Park, and it was actually our first gig. So, Laura and I, we play with, we both perform with Wayward Companions. And of course, like I have my own music thing going on, and I'll leave my, my music channel in the description below. I'm also going to be making a new Celtic Spirit YouTube channel. And Wayward Companions has a YouTube channel too. I'll just put them all in the description because why not? But yeah, I had a gig today. It went really, really well, and now I'm just kind of finishing up my meal prep, getting a few things done, and yeah, now I decided to make this video for you because it was kind of on my mind, and I do think that we have been definitely experiencing kind of an energy shift, especially since, I would say since December, January, since like maybe the winter solstice. There's definitely been like a shift in energies, and now we just had the spring equinox, and it just seems like the shift is even more. So it's pretty exciting, but it kind of leaves you with like, okay, what's going to happen next? But I was kind of thinking about this today, and I decided to, share it with you. And of course, if you've had like an experience where maybe, because I know a lot of people, I've read stories about people experiencing things like the Men in Black, and things of that nature, just these interesting phenomenons that you're just like, like, wow, and I do think that, there's definitely a lot more than what this all is, and that's a whole nother video in itself, because you can get pretty deep with that. But I wanted to talk about this just because, like I said, with all the shifting in energies, it's like, This actually, though, this happened maybe like a couple years ago. About like, yeah, I'd say, no, it wasn't 2 years ago. It was maybe like 3 years ago, maybe four. I don't know, but no more than 5 years ago. So, but I was working in a coffee shop at the time, and what happened, oh my gosh. So we're working, and I'm working in the coffee shop, and it's super super busy. So I'm doing my, just doing my usual thing, and this kind of gentleman comes in, and he looked to be maybe like, I don't know, like later 20s, early 30s maybe. And he walks into the coffee shop, and immediately the first thing I notice is he does not look like, he didn't really look like anybody else in the coffee shop. And what I mean by that, like, there was just something completely different about just his whole stature, his whole demeanor, the way he looked, the way he dressed, the way he carried himself. There was just something that just kind of made him seem like he wasn't really part of this world, part of this time. And the way he was dressed and the way his hair was done, it looked like 1930s. I would say I would place him in the 1930s, maybe late 1920s. But he walks in, and he looks like just so out of place there. Now, I will say, I do historical reenacting. I have gone to, me and, my fellow reenactors, we have gone to restaurants and, places like after our events, or with Wayward Companions, because we do a lot of period events too, like mostly 18th century, but we have done like 19th century Victorian era as well. I mean, and we have gone out to eat, in our outfits. But even so, it's like you can tell we're from this time. Like, we're not, we're not like, I don't even know how to describe it, but you can kind of tell, like, say when a reenactor like comes in, like goes into like a place of business, like at, one, like before or after their event, you can tell, like, they're definitely from this time, even though they're dressed differently, the way they're moving about, the way they're interacting with people, you can tell that, they've been here, done this. But this guy that I saw in this coffee shop that I was working at, the way he was just moving about and really not interacting with anybody too much, and just like I said, just the way he was looking around, like he just did not know, like he was just kind of like, all right, what is this place? And like he just, like I said, and just the way he was dressed, the way he carried himself, it really didn't seem like it was anybody from this time period, from the 21st century. And it like I said, and it wasn't, it wasn't somebody who was, maybe just at a reenacting event and, they're just coming in for like a cup of coffee or something. So he's just kind of like, I'm just kind of like, just watching him just to see if he's going to come up and get in line and, place an order or anything like that, just because, I'm kind of like, just kind of curious about this guy. And then, I'm kind of looking to see if maybe anybody else I'm working with notices him. And I don't know, they didn't really seem to. And if they did, I don't know, like they just, I don't know, I guess for whatever reason, they didn't really think too much about it. But but they really seemed like they didn't really notice him. I don't know. So I'm just kind of doing my job, and I'm, and I see him kind of like walk up a little bit closer to the counter, and the prices on the menu are up above, and he's reading it, and he's just like, looks really confused. And I could, like, he was reading the prices and just kind of was like almost taken aback and like kind of like, and it's not like this coffee shop really was priced any differently than, say, any other coffee shop, like, it was priced at pretty much the same way as, say, a Starbucks, or even like a cup of coffee at, say, like, a diner or a restaurant, in this day and age, like, so it struck me as a little bit interesting that, like, he was so taken aback by the prices. So like he couldn't imagine, like, say, a cup of coffee would be like, the price that it was. And again, I like that, just kind of like, I'm like kind of doing my job and like waiting on other people, and he's just kind of like, just kind of like I said, kind of there, but kind of not. And what's more is, like, nobody else seemed to notice that he was there. And I'm just kind of like, is anybody else seeing this guy? Like, what's going on? This guy who just looks, like he's just not from this world, like he's not even from this time. So, so he's just, like I said, just looking kind of taken aback by the menu, and probably, and like seemed to be like, cause like reading the prices and everything. And, and it was just kind of like, really, like, wow, like that's not really something you see, because usually people come in and they glance at the menu, they place their order, and then they go. Like, this guy just seemed to be like he was just kind of like I said, just like looking around, like what is this place? And like so I was kind of hoping he would come up to the counter, because, I kind of wanted to see a little bit more of what this guy, who this guy was, what he was about. And then, but then the next thing I know, I am like, I turn around to get something for somebody. And the next thing I know, I turn back and he's gone. And I literally turned for maybe, like, because he was there in front of the counter, kind of like behind the line of people. And so I turn around literally for 1 second to, maybe get get something for somebody. And then the next thing I know, it's like, boom, he vanished. And, it was a little bit of a walk, like, from the counter to the door. So even if he was leaving, you for sure, like, would have, like, in the little amount of time that it took me to turn around and then, just give the person their thing, surely at least would have seen him, like, okay, as he's like walking out the door, but it's like, no, like he vanished. and then when we slowed down a little bit, I did ask, like, a couple of, the people working with me, like, did you see that guy? Like, he looked like he could have very much been, like, out of the 1930s, maybe, or late 1920s. And he was just kind of just standing in the background and didn't really, interact with anyone, and none of them noticed him. So I was just kind of like, like, what's going on there, but we never saw that guy. I never saw that guy again, and nobody else that I worked with ever saw him. So, but it was just kind of like one of those moments where, I don't know. It was just like one of those things where, I don't know, it could have been nothing. It could have been, maybe just some guy who has like a very, kind of cool vintage style. And I don't know, maybe he doesn't really go out to coffee shops or out to eat much. I don't know. It could have been that. But then it was just like, but then, like, how did he just kind of disappear the way he did? And how did nobody else notice? It's like, it's just really, really, like, it was just one of those moments that I'm just kind of like, all right, like, what was that? I mean, did I see a time traveler? Or, maybe, or I don't know, maybe it was something like something you know, or paranormal, or sometimes like you hear of something like, say, where there's like a little bit of a glitch in the matrix and like time periods and eras can cross. So I don't know if it was maybe something like that, because there are a lot of really interesting and kind of bizarre stories of people who, you know, experience, you know, time travelers like coming out of like they just appear there and then the next minute they're gone, you know. So it's really there's a lot of really interesting stories out there, but yeah, but I want to know like what you think, and have you ever experienced something like that to where you were just like okay, what was that? You know, where you were just completely like, you almost didn't know what to make of the situation. Like, you know, maybe you were wondering if you maybe experienced like a time traveler, or maybe saw like one of the Men in Black, or, you know, maybe, you know, just experienced like a glitch in the Matrix, or, you know, the Matrix or whatever. So I don't know, but yeah, but I'd love to hear it, you know, if you have any stories there. And yeah, and I'll be having more content like this coming soon, so be sure to, yeah, enjoy being here. Join my YouTube family. I'll leave my music channel in the description below too, if you'd like to check out some Gothic Celtic music. And yeah, I will see you in the next video. Cheers. You'll float too, right? All right, see you in the next video.